Hey, I'm here at TechReady, which is an internal Microsoft conference. We get the entire Microsoft technical staff from around the world in one place twice a year, get them up to date on the latest stuff from Microsoft. As you know, we are all in when it comes to cloud computing, so what I want to do here is find some of the movers and shakers of cloud computing at Microsoft and find out what the real story is. Let's see who we can find. We're down at the Seattle Conference Center for a Microsoft conference, and I tracked down Scott Andersen. How you doing, Scott?
I'm doing well.
So tell us what your role is now.
So I'm the new director for our cloud services, or our services cloud community, which encompasses the world of Azure, the world of online services, and whatever else is coming. So IaaS, PaaS, and all of the other initiatives around cloud computing.
Cool. What I wanted to talk to you about today was kind of the business case around cloud computing.
Okay.
So probably a fairly common scenario. CEO comes back from a business trip, pulls his CIO in, says, I was reading Business Week on a plane, and they talked about how cloud computing is the future. Are we doing cloud computing? Why are we or why aren't we? What are some of those business reasons that he's going to care about that we should be looking at cloud computing?
All right, well, the big one is obviously cost savings, right?
Okay.
An organization could save money over time. They can save money in agility, and they can save money in raw cost. And then the other side of that is the concept of green computing, the reduced virtualization and reduction within the data center allows us to have a lower energy footprint and therefore a greener computing solution.
Okay, I want to get to cost savings in a minute, but let's talk a little bit more about green IT.
All right.
I mean, other than just feeling good about the environment, what are some of the realities there? Why is that a big deal?
Well, I've just heard rumor actually that some states are actually considering legislation to pass to say, if you're burning energy, we're going to tax you. I believe Pennsylvania has already done it. A number of other states are looking at it and considering it, and that's going to be a lot of money. So if you're spending $30, $40, $50 million a year, in all of your IT data centers, and they put another $3-4 million in tax, that's a significant impact. If you think about, the cost that will produce. So that's part of it, right? Mm-hmm. The other side of green computing is obviously is the reality of what we're doing to the environment around us and what we're really causing the impact of IT. The majority of energy burned right now is IT energy. Those data centers are on 24 hours a day. They consume a massive amount of power. And the more we can reduce that, the more we can have a lesser impact, the better off everybody will be.
The reality is, we, as you said, we're consuming power 24/7, but our workloads don't match that, right? We typically have these peaks and valleys.
Absolutely.
So how does cloud computing help me address that spikes in activity?
Well, the spikes in activity, so one of the things you can do, first of all, is have capacity on demand. So you can actually have the situation where you require, let's say 1x amount of energy during the normal business day, but you're a retailer, and there's that funny holiday thing, right? November time period.
Yeah,
that little thing that happens, and maybe you need 1.5 or 1.8 or 1.9, but you only need it for 30 days. So if you spin up all that disk and you leave it running all year, that burns a lot of energy that you're never, ever, ever going to recover. It's money you're throwing away. Versus if you use the spare capacity somebody else has and leverage that, your capacity doesn't change, your cost goes down.
So I'm freeing up, in addition to the power, I'm freeing up all that space in the data center, the cooling costs involved with having those machines running.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of green value.
A lot of green value.
I think cost is probably the big one. That seems to be where people are focusing the most. Where do the cost savings come from?
Well, so first of all, you have two cost savings. And let's talk a little bit about the concept, first of all, of what a cost saving is.
Okay.
You can take money out of a solution. You can take things that cost you money out. Mm-hmm. You can reduce the cost by reducing the number of servers, by reducing the number of processes running, by reducing the physical amount of your network. So the first thing you've got is every organization, as you look at them, have a number of ways that they connect to the internet. If they've already got 2, 3, and 4 different connections to the internet today, which a lot of companies do, they can reduce the sheer amount of their network that they're carrying. Shockingly, phone companies don't give T1s away anymore. I don't know why. It should be just free, right? But they charge for them. So if you don't have as many or you don't need as many, you've got to reduce cost there right off the bat. The other side of reduced cost is you actually free your IT staff a little bit. They're not doing those mundane chores that we all admit, right? How many of us wanted to clean our rooms when we were 8 years old, right? It was a mundane task we didn't do.
Still don't. Yeah.
Still don't value. Neither do I. Unfortunately, my wife yells at me all the time. But the reality is that we free IT to be proactive. They start thinking about ways to solve other problems that are impacting our business, and we ultimately will save money there as well through proactive IT.
Okay, tell me more about that, because right now, we got guys spending a lot of time putting servers in racks, troubleshooting failed hard drives and things like that. Tell me what proactive IT means. Tell me what he's going to be doing instead now.
Well, so first of all, let's think about this. One of the things that I've always told customers for years is, why do you try to troubleshoot problems when you can call Premier? The guy on the Premier help desk, he's probably answered that question 1,000 times. Okay. You're going through it the first time. It's going to take you an hour to go through it. It takes him 7 minutes, right? You've just wasted 53 minutes, right? So that's part one.
Interesting.
Part two is when somebody gets a chance to stop and they get a chance to think about the problems that impact their job, they begin to think of outside of the box of their job, right? So I'm an architect. I spend all my time thinking about how do I deploy Exchange for my customers. When I get to step back and think about what is really stopping me from deploying Exchange, what is really stopping my customer, or in the case of a customer IT person, what's really stopping me from being successful with this solution, they're able to be proactive and get ahead of the problem, solve the problem before it actually occurs, and then really reduce the ultimate cost of the solution.
So tell me a little bit about that move. You talk about companies going from basic to dynamic and becoming more proactive. How can somebody get started if their company is in that kind of reactive break-fix mode? How do they start moving to proactive IT?
Well, it's the value to the organization. So you have to start thinking about looking ahead, right? Being a visionary, being somebody who's thinking about what's coming. I think it's often really hard. It's fairly easy as a consultant to come into a company and be a visionary because they're paying me to think ahead. When you're in IT, it's often hard. I mean, the great line from a dear friend of mine always used is, when you're up to your neck in alligators, it's hard to remember your original job was drain the swamp, right? You're looking at the alligators.
Sure.
So, be a visionary, be thinking ahead, be thinking about what other things are things that are going to be valuable to the company that you're looking at. So, if you're looking at BPOS today, you're going to be an online service organization, and you're moving all the mail to Exchange. What else could you do? What other services could you offer your organization and help them move to the cloud with those services?
Okay, and it sounds like, if I'm doing that, if I'm impacting the company's bottom line, I've made myself more valuable. So we talk about, cost savings being in removing heads. If I'm that valuable guy that is impacting the company's bottom line as an IT pro, that's how I can invest in my career, it sounds like, and be valuable.
So a proactive IT member, a proactive IT person, or a proactive consultant for that matter, is always going to be more valuable to the organization. They're not going to let them go. They're not going to be looking at, we want to reduce that head, because that head has value, right? That head is bringing money into the organization or reducing the cost of sales or other things, so that the organization looks at it and says, there's value in keeping that person. So absolutely a great way to keep your skills, keep yourself valuable to the organization.
Okay, gotcha. Scott, I know you're a busy guy, so we'll let you get back to the conference, but thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thank you, sir. It was a blast.
Great, thanks.
Have a great day.
You too.